Hey guys, welcome to Brad's Crazy Life. In this video, I got a comment from a subscriber that said, what's one of the strangest, craziest things that you ever found? Or things that you've done. So, what I'm going to do is tell you about a time that I found one of the strangest contraband items that I've ever seen in my life. I don't know how in the world these inmates were able to pull this off, but I'm going to describe to you what happened. Now, this was just like any ordinary day. I was actually in a T building. If people don't know what a T building is, it's in the shape of a T, but when you go up into it, you can see 48 dorms straight in front of you and both to the sides. And I had this inmate come to me about 8 o'clock at night and tell me, hey, I got some people in here that are fixing to hurt me bad and try to kill me if I don't get out of here. Now, I need to check in. Now, most of the time when you get an inmate that comes to you that wants to check into confinement, most of the time we take it 50-50 stride, because most of the time it's they owe a gambling debt. Especially like the reason I'm doing this is not only for a comment, but after like the Super Bowl. When you have a big football game like that, they owe each other debt, and if they can't pay their debt, then they'll check into confinement, and then you're wasting all your time, resources trying to get all these inmates into confinement. And so what we try to do is we try to weed them out a little bit. So I told this inmate, I said, all right, sure, we'll see what we can do. Just go back in your pod, and I'll come get you. He said, nope, I ain't leaving. He said, I told you that they're going to kill me. Now, this is the day prior to the Super Bowl. So he said, they're fixing to hurt me bad. Or the day after the Super Bowl. So I said, they're fixing to hurt me bad. I need to get out of here. This was on a Monday morning. Now, I'm one of those, I can usually think on my feet, and I usually can read people pretty well. So what I did, I said, all right, not a problem. I grabbed a tablet, and I grabbed an ink pen, and I shoved it through the hole, because there's a little hole that we can pass things back and forth, because when you walk in, I'm up in like a little tower, and I can oversee everything. And I said, all right, what I want you to do is I want you to write down every single dorm that has contraband. Weapons, shanks, drugs, cell phones, anything that an inmate ain't supposed to have, I want you to write down their cell number. So he sat there for about, 30, 45 minutes. I didn't really see him writing anything. So I said, well, this ain't going to go over too well. Next thing you know, I guess it was about an hour after I give him a tablet, he just throws the pad through the hole. He don't actually even give it to me. And I pick it up, and I bet you there was 15 cells on that paper. Everything from, he would label the cell, he labeled what was in the cell, and possibly where it was at. I mean, this dude's memory must have been far superior to what mine is. I have no clue how he knew some of these things. So I said, all right. But at the top of the paper was a item that I had never seen before. And I'm like, you have got to be kidding me. So I said, all right. I called my Security 9, which is who runs everything up underneath the captain that runs the facility at the annex that I was working. I said, you need to get up here. We got a big problem. He come up and he goes, what's going on? I said, this guy here, he's a redheaded white guy. Now, this white guy had black eyes for like the last month or two. He would get beat up every now and then. And I kept a recollection of what was going on. And I said, listen, this guy needs to go to confinement. I really believe his story. I'd like to check him in. I said, but I told him I wasn't going to check him in until he told me about contraband that was in the pod. And I handed him the pad. And he said, okay. He doesn't really have, the guy wasn't, the security nine's a good officer, but he's kind of mellow, which is good to be a CO. You'd rather be mellow. And he said, all right, well, what did you do? Go and take him to confinement. I'll stay here with your sergeant, and you book him in, and then what we'll do is we'll wait for these inmates to go to sleep. That way they can't hide any of this contraband in the day room, because, if you find it in the day room, you can't charge anybody with it. And so we'll go ahead and search it then. So we went up. Once I got him booked and went back, we go up to the top, and once you get into the officer station, you climb a ladder, and then up on top they have shutoff valves for water, your security panels, your heaters, your heater ducts. You can shut all that off. So we go up there, shut all that off for that specific pod, and we walk in. Well, I don't walk in. I stay up in the control tower. I'm watching everything. And I get all the officers. There was about 15, 20 officers maybe. And they go and they start searching this dorm. Now, when they start searching, a lot of times when they hear those officers come in, they start slinging stuff under the doors. So I made sure that I looked and made sure which doors that they were slinging it on, because, we got cameras, we can review it. Well, anyway, they went into the dorms. Now, they found 2 cell phones. They found real marijuana. They found synthetic marijuana, which is K2. They found a couple shanks, exactly where this guy said they were. But they found an item that was made out of a locker. Now, these lockers are steel. They are a steel box with a lid. Usually that's what they put all of their possessions in, and they have underneath their bunk. Well, every inmate has a locker. So how they were able to take this locker apart and make a machete, I have no earthly clue. This machete was about 3 foot long. It was wide at the top, about 8 inches, and then it went down to a handle, and then the handle was actually a sheet that they had cut up, or he had cut up, and they braided it and then wrapped it around the bottom of the handle. This machete was sharp on both sides, and the top was real flat. They could have beheaded somebody easy with this thing. It was the weirdest contraband item I have ever seen. It was so sharp. My security 9 took it, and there's a wooden table that's actually in the middle of the day room, and he just went like this with it, and it stuck in the table. That is the type of item that will get an officer killed or an inmate killed. I mean, it's going to happen. So we found the inmate. It was actually underneath his bunk. As stupid as that sounds, but it was just underneath his bunk. So we pull the inmate out. We take him to confinement along with about 6 other ones. And about 2 or 3 months later, because they're going to transfer this inmate to another facility, I asked him, I said, why in the world would you want to build something like that? He said, you know what? I was tired of getting beat up on. And when you got the biggest, baddest weapon in the prison, people don't beat up on you no more. And I said, well, I understand that, but I can't have people have weapons like that and use them on an officer or another inmate, even if, if you were getting beat up on like that. He said he understood, and then they end up shipping the inmate off. So that's the craziest, weirdest thing as far as contraband that I have found in the prison system to date. I have plenty more stories, but if you have any comments or questions about this, just send me a comment down below. Hit like. This is Brad's Crazy Lie. Over and out.